HKU MAFA,
the Master's Fine Art Program,
HKU MAFA,
the Master's Fine Art Program,
HKU MAFA,
the Master's Fine Art Program. For those of you who do not know what HKU stands for, it's the Art Academy in Utrecht.
Students and graduates of the HKU MAFA.
We were shy, we didn't know much about each other, but we were curious.
HKU MAFA.
And we got to know each other through collaborating with each other. The Master's Fine Art Program
includes audio tours of the exhibition as well as conversation with and contribution by the artists and guests.
Thank you so much.
Tune in and listen to personal stories, experience, struggle, artistic productions, processes, dreams, and nightmares.
Thank you so much for that contribution.
I will now introduce No More Later. No More Later is a mobilizing platform by students, alumni, set up by students for students. It mobilizes around students' rights across different art academies in the Netherlands. It's also, and foremost, an Instagram account that raises awareness on student precarity and unequal treatment towards non-European students in Europe. Gisem and Julie initiated the project during the first wave of COVID-19 outbreak in spring this year. The group has expanded to a national scale with 9 members among 5 art academies in the Netherlands.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. I actually also think, beside the direct move, like, can you cut down our tuition fee, or can you provide more accessibility of funding for non-EU students? There are also other living crises that actually impact me a lot, like housing crisis. The other thing I want to mention is also like working permit. For non-EU students, you have to find an employer to apply 16 hours a week working permit for you. The problem keep coming and coming, and you have to put so much more effort than the others to sustain yourself a little bit.
There are other ways to, not directly decreasing the tuition fees, but there are other ways also to solve the students' problem.
I add something to it. Yes. So I think something that I learned through following you, like closely, trying to understand how you do what you do. It's a kind of like an old slogan. It's nothing new, which is there is no culture without social rights. There is no culture without social rights. Because in the arts, we tend to very easily divide these two things. So that there is something like artistic critique. This artistic critique is something that forms around an anti-capitalist critique of alienation, but it kind of pushes away the investigation of social rights. And I think what you do in No More Later is trying to bring them together. So what I try to do within the HKU is finding allies within this, let's call it slogan, there is no culture without social rights. And of course we will disagree again a lot, but this is like how I try to go step by step, and being really alert in how the institutional twists and shifts are happening.
Hi again. Next we have Tools of the Time. Tools for the Times is a student-teacher-led initiative prioritizing inclusivity. It is led by Karina Jensen, Quincy Letting, Sarah McLachen, Kaina Grigori, and Megan Haudur. And here they are to tell you a bit more.
So Tools for the Times is a student-teacher-led initiative supported by the HKU BA Fine Art, BA Fine Art and Design in Education, MA Fine Art, and alumni. We work on tools and strategies, as well as encouraging engagement on how we, as participants within the HKU, can practice inclusivity. How can we make the Academy more sensitive towards diverse voices, minds, and bodies in contexts of education and administration? We support existing initiatives at the Art Academy. We reach out to external advisors and aim to think and work through our own educational institutional structures. This helps us to find more inclusive ways of relating to each other. Tools for the Times comes from a history of various experiences of discrimination and casual racism, sexism, ableism, homophobia, transphobia, and so forth, and some violently xenophobic actions that took place within the walls of the institution in the school year of 2018 to 2019. These actions were in response to a discussion group around the topic of Zwarte Piet. So in Tools for the Times, we have quite a few different working groups. These depend on the different events or so. For example, we recently made a survey and wrote a petition concerning the HKU. And we also quite recently had our first open session, which there will be many more of. The email address is toolsforthetimes@gmail.com, and the Instagram handle is @toolsforthetimes, all lowercase, all one word. If you're part of the HKU and you want to be part of Tools for the Times, but you're not very sure about committing to any working group or so, you just want to get to know us a bit better, this is like a very good way to do that. Also, if you're not part of the HKU, you're very welcome to please join. And so thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us.
The mutual support platform was conceptualized during the COVID pandemic by the Master Fine Art graduates of 2020. A few alumni, graduates, and first-year master student to discuss.
That what is very clear is that that there is no unified idea of what mutual support is.
The Mutual Support Platform, MSP, is a space for conversations and actions between for students, alumni and teachers of the MAFIA HKU Utrecht.
What is mutual support? I think this is a very good question.
It emerged as a collective effort in response to the crisis of COVID-19, which we experienced with different levels of privilege. The platform continues to exist as an internal and at times external online resource, as an expanded network and as a hub for the following conversations.
Maybe I can make an example. So the housing situation in Utrecht is very precarious and very violent, actually, especially to European and non-European, like international students. In the last 3 years, actually, what happened that from September till October, when students started the master, they actually still had to find, were struggling to find housing till November. So, and what happened through a support structure, what I would call support structure, by trying to make connections between the different years of the master, that students that are outgoing, for example, now the third year, the graduating students, have helped in an incredible way, and also alumni, the incoming students from the first year to find housing. So this is like a material support beyond imagination for me.
Instead of surrendering to systematic attempts of the academy to discipline, MSP challenges so-called neutrality of the prevalent discourses in the art education and addresses support by the art institution that is missing on different levels. MSP is dedicated to working on how to deal with conditions collectively, to intervene, to document these processes and trajectories, to imagine and act, to unlearn, and to support one another.
Next, we will have Acha Collective. Acha Collective is an experimental music ensemble that frequently collaborates with the HKU MAFIA program. For example, the theme music you are listening to now. Our graduation student, Charlie Harrington, long-termly works with them and research on care and invisible labor in the collective working. Now, two members from Acha Collective,
Ida Alvarez Fernandez and Gordon H. Williams,
will tell you how they work with each other.
Well, Acha Collective is a group of musicians and composers from different styles. We try to experiment with the composition, improvisation, and also staging through choreographies.
How can we create a cohesive group, a group that really has a sense of closeness or intimacy? And we're trying to form something where we can really share the work together. So we are looking for that sense of commitment.
So we usually start, we have a talk at the beginning, to talk about the rehearsal plan, possible projects of concerts. And then we continue with a warming up without instrument and relaxing the body and improving concentration, focus, and connection between us. We also do these warming ups before the concerts. I think it's something essential also for us. And then we start working with the pieces. We start rehearsing and working in the parts of the piece. Everybody can add something and work together. And yeah, we try to don't hierarchies, don't roles. Everybody can do everything.
For us, it's really an aspirational thing. It's something that we're really discussing and using the group to study together. How can we work together well? We talk a lot about kind of these different researches that we have ongoing, and it's really developed by the people who are in the group. And we've also talked a lot about this like embodied practice. So not the musician just as this sound source, but as a person who moves in space.
Well, it's clear that each of us contributes in different things. As a collective, we try to learn from everyone and improve our skills in any field.
I think it's something that comes up almost constantly. We talk a lot about like this distribution of work and how to better share it.
This story is not about accommodating yourself and what you know how to do, but about being able to learn and share knowledge and exchange the roles.
So we're different people, we have different interests, different motivation. So yeah, I don't think that we have the idea that everyone should always do the same type of work. We are trying to experiment with sharing leadership and exchanging roles so that we can learn new things together.
Yeah, I think that the biggest challenge for a musical group with 7 people from different countries with different languages, as Gordon said, is the communication, no? And how to communicate and be empathetic and contribute with ideas in a positive and a constructive way. Besides being a partners, we are also friends. So I think it's the key to go on. No?
HKU MAFA,
the Master's Fine Art Program.
HKU MAFA,
the Master's Fine Art Program.
HKU MAFA,
the Master's Fine Art Program. For those of you who do not know what HKU stands for, it's the Art Academy in Utrecht.
Students and graduates of the HKU MAFA.
Thank you so much for that contribution.